Hello, hello. What's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Welcome back. Talk with your mouth full. This is my 16th episode, and got a special guest because it is my wife. Say hello to everybody.
Hi guys, thanks for tuning in.
Yes, we have a very special episode today. We are doing a recovery episode. This is actually my second recovery episode, but we just did a recovery walk, the Hope Festival 2025 festival walk for recovery. And, she was a guest of that. So she also wanted to bring awareness out to recovery and addiction and give her testimony and story. So we did do this show a little differently. It's a little unconventional for my regular show because we also had members of her family give their story of what they had to go through as well. So you'll have to tune in to see it all. So thanks for tuning in. Please tune in to the end because after their testimony, you'll see we did the walk and we have video footage from the walk, and others gave a short story of their testimony. Again, thanks for tuning in. Talk with your mouth full.
Apple.
My name is Lynn Walsh. I am Laura Walsh's mother, and this is her father, Joe.
Howdy guys, I'm Joe Walsh, Laura's dad.
We noticed when the kids got surgery and all the OxyContins they had needed for their wisdom teeth were all gone the next day. So we knew right away that there was an issue.
I noticed around, I think she was 15. As soon as I'd come home from work, there'd be a bunch of kids hanging out on my front porch. And
then that guy with the roll of money all the time.
She went from daddy's little girl when I come home from work to, oh great guys, my dad's home from work. Let's go.
That's true.
I noticed money was missing and I ended up getting another job.
Yeah,
so
took a lot of my money too.
What I didn't know at the time was I was helping the problem.
You're helping the problem?
Yeah, by getting another job. All of a sudden she had more money and I was homeless. Enabling how parents can do it and families can do it and not even know they're doing it. And that's what hit me was, here I went and got a second job just to get out of the house, get away from this problem. And little by little, she's taking money from me. But I think with you, honey, I think you started reading a lot.
Oh yeah.
And you would bury yourself in books. And I think that was your escape. Mm-hmm. And the downside is it's less and less supervision for the child. And you become enabling the problem. You don't even realize you're doing it, but you're doing it. Mm-hmm. So I learned a big lesson there. I got pretty deep into prayer. And I would spend more time in the Bible finding out what God had to say about all this. And I actually got up and talked in front of the church about it. And I tied it into my faith and my and how God pulled her out of that problem. And I knew no matter what, he would fix it somehow. I don't know how. Sometimes I don't understand his ways, but I trust in him. And I think sometimes God's kind of like forging us. Like when a blacksmith forges steel, he gets it hot, he gets it tempered, and you get knocked around. But in the end, God finally gets what he wants out of your life. And if you trust him through the good times and the bad, the highs and the lows. There's a silver lining in every cloud.
Don't give up. That's all I can tell you is don't give up. You have to just be with you have to make friends again with your child, because I'm sure that they've pissed you off when you've said things that you shouldn't have. But don't give up. They're always going to come back. And they'll be better persons because of it.
Hi everyone, I'm Brian Walsh, I'm Laura's brother. I am not one for videos here or being the center of attention like my brother-in-law, but I know this is important to Laura and Ralph, so I'm going to answer some questions. So Laura asked, when did I first notice that she was on drugs? So it was when I went to college. When I would come home, she was a freshman when I went to college in high school, and I would come home and her friend group just like totally changed. And it wasn't like people that I would have wanted my sister to hang out with. And then like her attitude really changed. It was almost like you couldn't really have a conversation. It constantly went to a fight. And looking back on it, I think it was just like a defense mechanism to not have to deal with the problem that she was doing. She'd rather just act tough and have a big fight so that you couldn't really question what was going on. The way this affected the family was we just kind of like avoided it. I mean, you can ask my other sister, Mandy. We were both in college when this got really bad, and we would just avoid going home at all costs, because even though this was Laura's problem, it was also a family problem. I mean, my parents were textbook enablers, and they did not want to hear that. They look back on it now and they know that that's what they were, but in the moment, they had no clue, and they were just fueling the fire. So yeah, we avoided the family as much as we could. It's kind of unhealthy what we did. I just partied at a different college every weekend just to avoid going home and avoid thinking about it. Kind of wish I did things different looking back on that now as a 38-year-old, but that was how I dealt with it as a 20-year-old. So that's a lot of the negatives. I do want to highlight a lot of the positives though. So I will never forget when we got the phone call that Laura had chose to go to rehab, because we had been pushing it, but like we said, it was constantly met with fights and all that. So when she chose, that like it took a weight off her shoulders, because it felt like that could work. If she's choosing it and we're there to support her like that could work. That was December 2008. I was a senior in college, and I just remember just a weight being off my shoulders. I also remember we got to visit her in rehab. I don't know like what week it was in there, but when we got there, like some of these kids either didn't have a family member there or had one parent, maybe two, and we had both parents, all the siblings. We wanted her to know like, hey, this is your battle, but we're here to support you in whatever way we can. And I don't think this is an exaggeration to say, but I think that Laura's decision to go to rehab in 2008 is probably the single most important decision that anyone has made in our family. It completely changed the dynamics of our family. And I can't believe that was 17 years ago. So to end this, anybody that's struggling with addiction, there is hope. I can tell you that if you asked me in 2008 if I would have a relationship with my sister, I would probably tell you no. I could not see that at all in my future. And when she chose to get clean, and she worked at it for years, and now like she is an unbelievably valuable member of our family. She loves all of us. She's an amazing mom, and she chooses that over what she chose back then. And I'm proud of her every day as she continues to make that choice. Love you, Laura.
Hi everyone, my name's Amanda. I am Laura's sister. I'll start this off by saying I can't believe she's 17 years clean this December. That's awesome. I guess I first noticed when that she was using when I can't remember if I was a junior or a senior in high school, but she was always out with her friends. If she was home, she was sleeping, or she was pretty miserable to be around. And her friends that she would have over, they always looked like they were high, or they would be sleeping as well. You know, they'd have like wads of cash falling out of their pockets. Just a bad crowd in general was the vibe that I got from the people that she hung around. And I think it was then that I realized that she was going down a really dark path. I felt a lot of anger towards her. I was always angry with her. I never wanted to be around her when she was home, and especially didn't want to be around her when her friends were over. I would say that it made family life incredibly difficult. When it was at the worst times, I was actually away at college, and a lot of times I would not come home just to avoid her, because it was that awful to be around. I felt better just being away from the whole scene. I guess you could say that I just used avoidance to not be a part of it. I would always end up calling my Aunt Kathy to vent to her about how I was feeling or what was going on, and that was kind of the only way that I could deal with it, because unfortunately my parents were so wrapped up in Laura and all of her shenanigans that they really didn't have a lot of time for the rest of us, and that was really hard for all of us. So even though Laura was going through a difficult time in her life, like, so was the rest of her family, unfortunately. And then my youngest brother, he was even 2 years younger than Laura, so he unfortunately was stuck in the middle of all this, and he had nowhere to go, so it was really bad for him as well. So to say I'm glad she's clean is an understatement. For the longest time, like I said, I would avoid her calls. I would avoid her in general, and I felt like I had lost a sister. And when she got clean, I finally felt like I had a sister again, and who was not a monster. She has completely changed her life around. She's a wonderful person. She loves her husband and her kids and her family very deeply. Her close friends even. She's just one of those people who would do anything for someone that she loves, and that's always who she was, but it somehow got lost in the midst of when she was using, but I always knew that it was in there somewhere, and I'm so glad that it finally resurfaced again. A little word of advice to those dealing with an addict, or who maybe are an addict themselves, is to remember that at the end of the day, this is a disease. It may have started out as a choice, but once it's in the system, it's a chemical imbalance in the brain. And so just to keep that in mind when you're super frustrated with them. And with these people, a little tough love can go a really long way, and getting them to accept help can eventually bring that person back to you. And they can be that person that you know they are deep down. Saying all of that, however, don't let it overtake your life. Their addiction and their journey should just be a part of your life. It shouldn't overtake your life. But by all means, present them the options to help them to get better. And when they are finally at that point and they are getting their life back together, just be there for them. You'll be glad that you did, because then you'll finally have them back in your life. So I'll end this with saying that, Laura, I'm so proud of you, and I hope that you continue down this newfound path that you have, and all the goodness that comes with it. And I hope that you and this episode inspire others to get help as well. Although it is a very, very tough journey for all involved, not just the addict, but as well as family members and everything, it's a necessary one to live and have a full and meaningful life. So Thank you for asking me to be a part of this, and I can't wait to see the episode.
Excuse me. Hello, and I'm Jarrell Booker, Laura's husband. Excuse me, I am tearing up because I'm in the middle of editing this, and I just watched her brothers and sisters video, so I felt like I might as well join in here. So I met Laura. I actually initially met her probably while she was active, but I didn't know I met her at a party. And if anybody knows our story, the first night we met, I just kept seeing her stare at me, so I took it upon myself to walk over and kiss her. I felt like she was inviting me to do that. But after that night, I didn't see her like a long time. And I guess that's, as y'all heard her story, she went away and I ran into her again, and yeah, it was always destined to be. She was gonna be mine. So I always heard about her story, her going through it, and from what I seen from her, I couldn't imagine it. And I know if y'all meet her, y'all can be like, what? Yeah. So, you know, I watched her go through the recovery part, and obviously I was a fan of it because I decided to keep her. You know what I mean? She is everything. She is an amazing person. She's an amazing mother. She's my best friend. So I'm glad to be by her side in every step of the fight. Dang, this is my show. Hold up. Seeing the person she is motivates me to fight through my battles and just to be a better person every day. Knowing somebody can come from that, because I know a lot of people, and that's why, you know, I always try to help where I can, and even she does. Also, a lot of people know she helps everybody that she knows is close to her. She tries to help them get out of their fight with it. So, I'm lost. Hold up. So, just some mindset for everybody. If y'all know somebody going through it, try to be there for them without enabling. It is a sickness, you know. Once they chose to do it, it is a sickness. So they do need that help. You know what I mean? Especially if it's somebody's child, it's somebody's parent, sister, brother, cousin, whatever. You know what I mean? Hate to see somebody go down that route. So try to pitch in where you can. And they need that strong love to be able to come from that sickness. So, babe, congratulations. 17 years, December 12/4. Glad to be here with you. Love you so much. Let's continue the great fight.
Hi, my name is Laura. I am a recovering addict. I will be 17 years sober December 4th. I went into rehab December 4th that morning. I was given an ultimatum, was to go get help and get clean, or I lose everything. I started when I was like 13. Started out with cigarettes. And then I smoked weed for the first time 14 or 15. I would say I probably got away with it. Well, they knew, but I didn't get confronted about it till probably a year and a half later. When I started having friends over, I feel like it started to get pretty serious, and that's when like the fights started happening, because I would bring them in at like 3, 4 in the morning, and my parents would have to get up at 6 in the morning and go to work, and I was having parties on school nights, sneaking out. One time I stole my dad's truck and ended up crashing it. Let's see what else. I took the John Deere down Allentown Road down Delp Road and down Gottschall Road to my friend's house. But I would say probably 16 I got pretty serious, and I was just a very miserable person to be around. I was stealing their money. I was stealing my little brother's money that he had saved up for years for a motorcycle, which I would never do, ever. And drugs just make you a different person. I'm glad that I was given an ultimatum to either get clean or lose everything, because I don't know what I would do without them. So I went to rehab right before I turned 18. I went to Today Incorporated in Levittown. I went in there and they told me, I told my mom, if I'm going, I need cigarettes. So she bought me a carton of Newports, and when I got in there, I went into my bag after I got put in there, and I was like, where's my cigarettes? They're like, oh, no, this is a non-smoking rehab. And I was like, well, then I'm leaving. I'm leaving now. And she's like, well, your mom already left. The gate's closed. And I'm like, all right, well, call her. And she was like, nope. And I didn't get to talk to my parents for a whole week. I went through withdrawal for an entire week, and that was probably the worst week of my life. And then after that, I saw them, and every visit, they would ask me something that I would never tell the truth about, like my little brother's motorcycle money. They would say, did you do it? I would say yes, and they would say, okay, like, we forgive you. And they would say, you know, all the money that was in my wallet that I replaced, Dad. My dad he never wanted to realize that it was me stealing the money. I was in there for like 35 days? 35 days, I think. And I had to sign a contract on the last visit. And that was new phone number. I had to be home after school. I had all new friends. There was name of friends that literally I was not allowed to hang out with anymore. Like, they were cut off. I also had to be piss tested whenever my dad wanted to piss test me. And what was it, my 5th year sober? My dad came out, I think it was the day after my birthday. And he was like, here you go. And I just peed in a cup. And he was like, all right, this is your last one. And I was like, it was like a punch in the chest. Like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean it's my last one? He was like, all right, like, you won my trust back. Like, you've gained my trust back. And it was like kind of like a relief, but at the same time, it was kind of like, But then I had gastric bypass, and I had lost like 170 pounds. And they always said, don't drink. Like, drinking is so bad for you. Because it just goes right to you. And I became an alcoholic, and I went downhill. I was drinking every single day, no matter what time of day. But then I had my kids, and it's a completely different story since then. August 20th was 2 years sober for me from alcohol. Come here. Come sit here. Come sit with me. Right here. And these are my wives. Right? Yep. Right. And this is why I stay sober. Because I wouldn't have them if I wasn't. So. Yeah. And if I can do it, anybody can. Right? Give me 3.
So that's her story of recovery.
Dad. Recovery after 2025. It's amazing. Recovery truly is for everyone, right? If you're a person in recovery, raise your hand and keep it up. If you are a family member of a person, keep your hands up. If you're a family member of a person in recovery, raise your hand, put it up high. If you support care for someone or love someone in recovery, raise your hand and put it up high. If you have a friend or a coworker who's in recovery, raise your hand and keep it up high. We're all in this together, guys. We're all in it together.
recoveries for everyone.
Yeah.
This is Sherry at the Hopewell Christian Fellowship table. Hopewell Christian Fellowship located in Telford, Pennsylvania. We are here at Hope Fest 25. Come on out, giving out bath salts to rest, calm, uplift, and be blissful in the bathtub. God bless.
Hi, my name is Colleen, and I'm here for the 2025 Portrait of Hope Festival Recovery Walk, and I'm walking because I have 3 years sober on Monday. My mom started walking about 4 years ago with my daughter while I was still in active addiction, and now we all walk together. So come out and join the fun. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Taylor Sturgeon. I'm here for the Recovery Walk. Recovery is for everyone, and let's keep on manifesting. Woo!
Hey everyone, my name's Danielle. So I'm here because I'm in recovery. I have 135 days clean. I just came from another program. Thank you. I'm doing this because I need to get clean for my family, for myself. It's going down a really rough road. And I'm so grateful that this is even a thing. I'm here for the Hope Recovery Walk. And I just can't even, words can't express how thankful I am to be a part of recovery and how important it is to go and do things and be in the community. So yeah, that's really it. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brittany. I'm here at the Hope for Recovery Walk. Today I'm walking for hope for my sister and for all the other children that parents are lost right now in recovery. Thanks.
Hi, my name's Emily Madden. I'm here for the 2025 Hope Recovery Festival. I'll have 3 years clean come October 7th. And I just want to thank God, my family, friends, and support. I couldn't do it without them.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. I hope you enjoyed the episode. And just remember that it is possible. Recovery can happen. It took me multiple times and a long time to come to terms that I needed to get help. And don't be afraid to ask for help. There's so many options and so many avenues that you can take to get the help that you need. I am here. I'm always a listening ear. You might not want to hear what I have to say, but it will be the truth, and and you just gotta take that leap and do it, and you can do it. My dad always said, like, 1 second at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 day at a time. It doesn't have to be like, oh, a week from now. Like, just live in that second, that hour of the day. If you can say another hour sober, that's all that matters. So you guys can do it. I believe in you.
Again, thank you all for tuning in, and I want to say congrats to everybody who has just a minute clean. Every minute counts. Keep striving to be better. Like she said, don't be afraid to ask for help. I know we are always here to help everybody, but I'm sure you have friends and family that would also love to help you. You just have to want to help yourself. And also for the friends and family, you heard testimonies today. It is hard to deal with, but you have to be strong as well, and help them because it is a sickness. Thank you, everybody, and that's a show. Talk with your mouth full.